What's up, Pickleheads? Today we're going to talk about an underrated skill, and that is hand-eye coordination. I'm going to give you a few tips. Austin's going to give you a few tips, and I think these will help your game. They've helped mine. Let's start out here, Oz. The first one that helps me a ton, and I have my paddle with me today, is a drill that you and I did a little while back. I have done it a couple times since, and it does help improve hand-eye coordination. Now I'll explain what it is. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, this will be most helpful. If you're listening, I'll try to use descriptive language. Okay, so what we're going to try to do, if you have an edge guard on your paddle, which I don't, it works even better because it's going to be flat and slightly easier to do, but it still works with a paddle like mine that does not have an edge guard. And what you want to practice doing is easy dinks back and forth with your partner, just using the edge of your paddle. Okay, so you can't use your paddle face at all. You got to use the edge itself. In the beginning, like you and I saw us, like it's jumping off the edge and making weird turns over to the right and to the left until you can really start to dial it in. I noticed I was holding my paddle even a little bit tighter. We decided not to dink like crazy animals. We were just real easy dinks. And then I saw that we started to get more consistent. Then when you go from that to normal dinking, when you're dinking off the face of your paddle, the face of your paddle and your sweet spot seems gigantic. So our first tip would be, if you are drilling, start working that hand-eye right away by hitting off the edge of your paddle. Oz, did you like that drill, or were you frustrated by it?
No, I actually really liked it. I thought it was fun. It was just an interesting thing to do, and I was like, we're going to get a ton of hate from doing this drill because people are going to be like, you don't hit it that way. I feel like that's the most common thing whenever I post a drill or do a drill that's kind of out there, maybe double hitting or something like that. But it's like it helps with hand-eye coordination. And it helps you hit your sweet spot. And just like Spencer said, after you do that, going to actually hitting a normal dink or volley or whatever it is that you want to do feels super easy. It feels like the sweet spot is just absolutely massive. Yeah, I liked that one. I can't remember why we even decided to do that one. How did we even come up with it? It was raining outside, I remember. We're just like, let's make something up.
It was late, and yeah, it actually works really well. There's also a spoon that you could use, or a pickleball, like a paddle trainer that some companies sell. We've talked about that before on the pod. And that is a little bit easier even than hitting it off the edge of your paddle. So I would actually suggest hitting it off the edge of your paddle first. See how many times you guys can dink back and forth. Do that for a little while. If you do want to purchase a training spoon, or is it just called a trainer, Ross? I'm trying to think what they're called.
It's a pointer.
Pointer, that's what it's called. So I've used those two, and those are difficult, but those really help you hit the sweet spot. So that's an option also. You could go from the edge of your paddle to a trainer to the paddle itself. And it really does train your eyes. Like after a little while, your eyes are like, wow, this is easy just hitting it off the face of my gigantic paddle.
Yeah.
So
makes it feel massive.
Yeah.
Hey, exciting news, guys, by the way.
What's
that? This is mine and Spencer's last podcast apart. I'm sure we'll have some in the future, but it'll be nice. It'll be nice to be together again.
Yeah, so for anyone that's watching the next pod, we should be together. Shouldn't be talking over each other as much unless we do it on purpose, so it should be pretty smooth.
Which is pretty common.
So the next tip I want to give, I've used this with my son, but it's for a different sport. Austin and I were just looking up the name of it, but basically it's a three-pronged stick. Okay, so picture like a star that just has three ends. So instead of a cross, cut off one of the ends of the cross, and you have a different color on each one of the prongs. And what you do is toss it in the air to your partner or whoever you're drilling with, and you call out the color in the air. For example, mine I think has black, red, and yellow. You can get different kinds. I think there's some that are 4-pronged too, that you can get.
Okay.
And you can make the tosses hard or easy. Like if you really put spin on it, it's hard to see which color is which. But if you just flat toss it in the air, call out the color in the air, the person that's catching it has to catch the color that you call out. And this really helps dial in your hand and your eye coordination, because you're really focusing on one color. And once you can do that consistently, I really think that's helped improve his hand-eye coordination, and mine, just being the one where he'll toss it back to me, and I'll play with it too. But those are pretty inexpensive, and it does help with hand-eye. And one thing that I wasn't going to bring up, but have you seen some of the light training that some of the pros have posted doing?
Some of the wife training?
Light, Light.
Light. Oh, okay, yeah. Where they tap it?
Yeah, so each light is like a button. So when that button lights up, you tap it. I have not done that personally, so I'm not recommending it to anyone, but it does look like it could help improve for sure. It's just blinking lights all over and you're trying to hit the lights. It reminds me of the old school arcade alligator game where you're trying to hit the alligator before he goes back in. Have you tried that before, Oz?
I don't even know what that is.
The old alligator arcade game?
We got an old man in this podcast. I had no idea.
Maybe I'm dating myself, but you would get a hammer, and the alligator's head would slide out of these little like caves or these little holes and then slide back in, and you'd have to hit the top of their head or the top of their snout with the hammer before it went back in.
I've done that, but it was with gophers. Now I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's one too.
I didn't know gators stuck their heads out of holes. Yeah, but I've done it with the gophers. But yeah, hand-eye coordination drills are really overlooked, I feel like, with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is before we got on with you guys, Spencer was like, let's talk about hand-eye coordination. And I didn't even tell him, but, well, I did. I just barely told him. But I just filmed a YouTube video all about hand-eye coordination just because it's so overlooked. And if you can become one with your paddle, then you're going to hit the sweet spot a whole lot more often. It's going to make your pickleball game so much better as a result. Yeah. Becoming one with it. So there's so many different drills to do, but you described that drill perfectly because I had never heard of that, whatever we named it, whatever the name of it is. It has a long name. But he described it good because I've never seen it before, but I can envision it. Essentially a tree with some branches coming out that are different colors, and you grab one of the colors, whatever colors. So shout it out.
Anyone that wants to purchase it, most of them it looks like are called reaction speed training tools. So if you type in, Amazon or whatever, reaction speed training tool, it'll pop up and you'll see this 3-pronged thing, and it's going to have 3 different colors on it. Again, I have used it, and anyway, it's helped improve hand-eye. And like you're saying, hand-eye coordination for pickleball is huge.
Yeah.
The better players all have it. So
they need a better name, that's for sure. For whatever that tool is, they need a more catchy name.
Yeah.
Almost fell asleep listening to that name.
We need to invent one specifically for pickleball.
Yeah. A pickle something.
Like I wonder if, I guess it could still be a round ball, but maybe the ball itself has 3 different colors. Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but anyway, I'm going to think of something so you can only hit, one of the colors or whatever. That way you're really focusing on the ball.
I'm genuinely curious. Is Christy Hardy listening to this podcast? If so, leave a comment. I think she's given up on us. For those of you that don't know, that's our mom. She's very supportive. She would always give us feedback all the time. Like, hey guys, pod sucked tonight. And we're like, all right. She's like, you need to do this, this, and this. And we're like, okay. And then she'd also be like, hey, the podcast was amazing tonight. You guys killed it, la-da-da-da-da. So, and I haven't heard from her in, 2 months.
Yeah, it probably has been a couple months since she said something. So maybe I know she has been busy lately, so maybe she stopped listening. But now we'll know for sure.
She's busy moving and stuff like that. So, but no excuse, okay? No excuse to ditch the pod. Best pod in pickleball right here. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like those hand-eye coordination drills. I'm dropping a YouTube video if you guys want to check it out. It'll probably be out like a day after this one's out, but it'll be on Pickleball Playbook. And in it, I go over 5 hand-eye coordination drills that you can do at home. So you can check that out, but it's all about becoming one with your paddle. I think that's the most important thing with hand-eye coordination drills, connecting your eyes with your paddle and the ball. And if all of those things are working in unison, you're going to be a lot better player as a result. So don't overlook hand-eye coordination drills.
Absolutely. I love it, man. This is a shorter pod this week, but we did want to get something out to you and something of value, not just something for no reason. I do think this can be very valuable for your game. So try this out. Let us know in the comments what you think about it or what you think about each drill. We'd be interested to know. Have you used these before? If you have, let us know. If you haven't, also let us know how it goes. Oz, anything else for the pod?
Nope. Awesome stuff. Thanks for joining us.
See you on the next one.